Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center. And today we're going to be taking a look at something cool from Kizer Cutlery and Daryl Ralph. Let's check it out. So after previously working with other companies on his designs, Daryl Ralph was looking for someone new to bring his custom designs to a production price point. And where he landed was Kizer Cutlery. He's found them to be very great people to work with, and they do a fantastic job with their production. Daryl himself has even gone so far to say that Kizer's quality is right up there with American companies like Zero Tolerance. And while that's a bold claim, we certainly think they stand up. Kizer's Gemini, in fact, made our list of top frame locks of all time, and it's easy to see why once you hold one of them in your hand. The knife we're going to be looking at today is called the Gunhammer, and this is a design of Daryl Ralph's that's been around for quite a while, but he actually doesn't make custom versions of this anymore. So if you want a brand new Gunhammer, you're going to be looking at a Kizer, and thankfully, the materials and fit and finish are not going to disappoint. So taking a quick look over this knife, it's definitely a spin on a popular format, and that is a titanium frame lock flipper with a super steel blade. We've got S35 VN steel in this case with a really nice stone washed finish and a very broad recurved clip point blade. The grind lines on these knives are very precise, but all the edges have been softened just a little bit thanks to that tumbling process that gets us that stone washed finish. It makes it very comfortable so you don't have any real sharp edges. And it's also a really nice working finish on a blade. As I've said many times, that stone washed finish is going to help hide scratches when you actually put this knife to use, so it's going to look great for a long time. The recurve on the blade is pretty mild, but it does add a little bit of visual flair, but it doesn't detract from the usefulness or the ease of sharpening of this blade. I really like how broad it is too. When you have a blade that is this wide, it's very easy to choke up on it, so you can get right behind the tip and do some smaller work that might be a little cumbersome if you were holding it in a standard grip. And that's just simply something you can't do with narrower and thinner blades. We've also got a nice thumb ramp here at the back, and the jimping is not too aggressive. So it does add some extra traction for your thumb when you're powering into a cut, but it's not so bad that you're going to tear up your thumb when you're doing it. Moving back to the handle, as I said, it's made from titanium, and it's got a really cool milled finish onto it. It's kind of got some intersecting lines going on. In a way, it kind of reminds me of old school gun grips with their diamond checkered pattern, but this is sort of a more abstract interpretation of it. Looks really cool and adds some nice traction to that frame. Turning it over, you can see that the frame lock does have a replaceable steel insert here, which is going to provide a longer lasting interface for the lock. We also get a milled pocket clip, which is going to be nicer than a simple folded over pocket clip. And it does have two positions. It can be either tip up or tip down for right-hand side carry. And they do leave the titanium flat under there so that texture is not going to get in the way when you're actually clipping this into your pocket. It's going to create a nice smooth landing for extraction. Looking at the spine, you can see it is an open-backed construction, which is going to make it easier to keep clean. It's going to be harder for lint to accumulate and get caught in there, but even if it does, a quick blast of compressed air or even a rinse under a faucet is going to be enough to clean that out really easily. One of the biggest differences you can find from a high-end knife and a lower-end production model is the feel of it when you're flipping, and the feel of this knife is truly premium. We've got a bearing-based system which makes it feel really nice, as well as a signature pin here from Daryl Ralph that adds to the flair. A really light press is all it takes to fire that blade out, and the flipper tab itself is very comfortable to use. We have that signature Daryl Ralph hoop instead of a solid tab, with some very light jimping on it. Again, not too aggressive, doesn't tear up your finger, feels really nice. Although if you prefer to open it another way, we've also got a pair of thumb studs on this knife, and they pull double duty. Not only do they allow you to open the blade, but they also serve as the stop pin on the frame when it is open. Overall, this classic Daryl Ralph design comes with tons of attitude, and it's just a really cool knife. And remember, if you want a new Gunhammer, you gotta check out this Kizer. If you like what you see here and want to get your hands on one, make sure to click the link in the description below to head on over to KnifeCenter.com.